Are we starting now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to The Talking Dead. This is Leyli speaking. I wish you all good experience as we run it back to the 60s and interview the Honorable Sylvia Plath, as we have some cookies and milk.
Leyli! Ignore my rude partner and her not so enjoyable humor, please. We are The Talking Dead, and this is another episode of the Dead Poet Society. This is M.Duru speaking, and this is my co-host Leyli.
Hi.
Let's get back to our topic, Sylvia Plath and her glamorous writing despite the depressing life she had. Hi Sylvia, we are so honored to meet you.
I'm myself. Nice to meet both.
Shit. The audio radio is broken again. So Sylvia, how does it feel like to have such a modern audience that loves your work despite the obvious gap of time?
I'm very grateful that my work is still read, understood, and more importantly, loved. My works reflect my inner thoughts and my struggles. I believe the reason people can still relate to it, especially to the bell jar, is because even though the time moves on cruelly, people feel stuck in their heads.
Yeah.
Just like I did. I hope my emotions make my readers understand theirs better.
Yes, I am sure they do, Sylvia. These are very kind words coming from you. I wonder if the reason you feel so deeply is because of you went through so much at a very young age. Would you say the loss of your father when you were 8 shaped you to be the emotionally intelligent person you became?
Yes, of course I would say that. I would pray that he would recover every day, and I mourned him when he didn't. After my father's death, I felt as though I didn't show enough affection towards him in our short time spent together. As the years went on, and I stepped into more of a mature perspective, I realized how awful my father actually was. I couldn't ever talk to him, and I was very scared of him. Even in his death, I couldn't really get rid of him.
I'm genuinely so sorry to hear that,
Yeah.
Sylvia. I believe you discovered your grief and anger in your poem, Daddy, right?
That is right, yes.
In the line, if I've killed one man, I've killed two. Who are you referring to, Sylvia?
My husband, Ted Hughes. This is what I meant when I said I could never really get rid of my father. I married him in another body.
How was your father and husband alike, Sylvia?
They were both cold, strong willed, and disappointments. Illusions of a man.
That is very upsetting to hear. Both of the idealized male figures in your life betrayed your love, your feelings. Forget it, Diva. They aren't even worth mentioning.
Diva? Very well, you're right.
Let's get back to our topic. There is right though. Enough about men. Shall we go back to the basic for a minute to get you know you better? Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Boston and I grew up there. It wasn't exactly anything special, and as you're aware, my childhood wasn't exactly joyful either.
I'm sorry, wasn't anything special? Girl, your first poem was published when you were just 8.
Yeah.
You had a lead start into the world of literature. How did that feel? Did you grasp how important it was at such a young age?
Not really. Actually, in my letter to the editor, I said, "Dear editor, I have written a short poem about what I see and hear on hot summer nights." I was practically clueless. I must admit, though, the journey of me realizing my passion started there. At the age of 11, I started to write journals with my fascination of literature.
Oh yes, your journals were later published in 1980 under the name of the Journals of Sylvia Plath. How do you feel about that? Do you consider it as an invasion of your privacy?
I feel rather conflicted about that. It is embarrassing, but I'm glad people want to see me for who I am, in the most naked way a person could be seen.
Yes, this is such an elegant way to look at it, Sylvia. Although your journals cover most of your life, you have a semi-autobiographic book named The Bell Jar. In both books, your story is told from your perspective. How does The Bell Jar differ from your journals?
This is such an interesting question. The Bell Jar is a book I wrote in great rage and suffering from depression, but also it was me looking back to my life, knowing it was about to end. I also discovered themes such as growth, pain, social expectations, depression, and feminism.
Yeah, you are a very important figure in feminism. Your works and ideas about feminism continue to attract interest in the modern world. We know that your books, Lady Lazarus and The Bell Jar, is also about feminism.
Yes.
Would you say that the women around you in your time saw the world similar to you?
This is a very complex topic. In my time, women had strict roles, and stepping out of that roles would not even cross their minds. We weren't exactly wired to think about ourselves back then. The only reason I was able to do this was because the loss of my father attracted a strong rage in me, as I had mentioned before. Growing up, I came to enlightening realizations about man and patriarchy. I probably wouldn't have dared to think about these kind of things if I didn't go through what I did.
Yeah.
Yes, you were really ahead of your time. What about your mother? We know after your death, she tried to ban your book in the US, saying that you weren't in a healthy mental state when you wrote it, and she thought that you portrayed the people in your life wrong. How would you comment about that?
I would say she wasn't really wrong about that, because I wrote it when I was full of hatreds. It doesn't reflect my true emotions about the things I wrote.
You have written 14 letters to your close friends before your death, which remain undiscovered until 2017. Letters revealed your husband's affair with another woman and your depression. The last letter, which was written 1 week before your death, often has been mistaken for a suicide note. What are your opinions about that?
If those letters have been seen as a suicide note, I can't blame anyone. My words and thoughts, even at my calmest, were always filled with darkness. In those final days of my life, I was exhausted from everything, emotionally and physically. Caught between a failed marriage and the struggle of caring for two kids when I could barely take care of myself.
I felt that.
But those letters were never written with the intention of indicating an ending. I think people should see clearly. These letters only captured my dark moments, not the entirety of my life.
Oh, all right. I think it's enough. We're losing the connection. Okay, Sylvia, thank you for your time. We're glad that you joined the Dead Poets Society.
Do you think she heard us?
Nuh-uh.
I think she's gone again.
Thank you for listening to us, folks. We're wishing you a good week.
Bye.
Bye.